Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into the sources behind a true classic, James Jones's 1962 novel, The Thin Red Line.
That's right. And we're really looking for what makes this particular war novel stand out so much from the crowd.
Our mission here is to give you a shortcut to its core, its legacy, and some of the surprising connections behind it.
And it all starts with Jones's own experience. I mean, this isn't just fiction. He was in the 27th Infantry Regiment, the 25th Infantry Division.
So right in the thick of it.
Oh, absolutely. Right there during the Guadalcanal campaign in World War II, he's basically pouring what he saw and felt onto the page.
You're reading about the real battles, Mount Austin, the galloping horse.
All of it.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The unflinching realism. The sources really stress that Jones wasn't just writing about combat, he was documenting a kind of emotional collapse.
That's the key. The novel got its, legendary status because it just refused to look away from that psychological damage.
And it gets pretty graphic.
It does. I mean, you have scenes of soldiers digging up a Japanese corpse just for sport, the execution of prisoners.
Wow.
Yeah, and even pulling gold teeth from the dead. And these details aren't there just for shock value. They're meant to show you the grim reality of that world.
That kind of rawness has to come from a personal place. We know he had his own direct experiences with that violence.
He did. He talked about killing a Japanese soldier with his bare hands.
Yeah.
So when you see that brutality in the book, it's coming from a place of deep personal trauma.
Which probably explains why he tried to create a little distance in other ways.
Exactly. It's fascinating. He commits to this brutal realism, but then he changes the names of the locations. Gokumbona becomes Bunabala.
And the galloping horse becomes the dancing elephant.
Right. It's like he's trying to spiritually step back from these unbearable events, even as he's forcing the reader to look right at them.
So the big takeaway here is that Jones saw modern war as this deeply lonely thing. The soldier is just suffering these horrors all by himself.
That isolation is everything. Which brings up a great question. Where do you find characters who can carry that kind of weight?
He went back to what he knew, to his first great novel, From Here to Eternity.
She did. His original plan was to bring those very same characters into this book.
But he couldn't, because the structure of that first book, its spiritual journey, required the character Prewitt to die.
Precisely. So to keep that thematic connection, he sort of kept the character types but just changed the names. It's brilliant, really.
So you can see the echoes. Prewitt becomes Wit.
Warden becomes Welsh. Stark becomes Storm. It creates this amazing link across his work. And you even see Corporal Fife from this book show up later as another character in his novel Whistle.
And that intense focus on the soldier's mind, the sanity versus madness thing, it's actually baked right into the title.
It is. It has two sources of inspiration. The first is just an old Midwestern saying.
There's only a thin line between the sane and the mad.
That's the one. And the second one is much older, much more literary. It's from Rudyard Kipling's poem, Tommy,
where he calls the foot soldiers the thin red line of Euros.
Exactly. And that links the American GI in Guadalcanal all the way back to British soldiers at the Battle of Balaclava in 1854.
It's a novel that just carries so much weight, and the critics definitely saw that. Kirkus reviews praised the battle scenes, of course, but also its ironic view of fate.
And that idea of fate is crucial to why it's so important. An analyst, Paul Crisell, he places it right in the world of literary naturalism.
Which, for you listening, basically means the soldiers' destinies are decided by forces completely outside their control, social, economic, whatever.
It's just caught in the machine. And critics recognized how sophisticated that was. The British historian John Keegan said it was one of only two WWII novels that could stand up to the best from World War I.
And Paul Fussell just flat out called it perhaps the best American WWII novel, period.
Its influence is still felt, too. Game writer Dan Houser cited it for its depiction of terror and that psychological isolation. And of course, there were the films, especially Terrence Malick's famous 1998 version.
So when you put it all together, what does this deep dive show you? Jones's novel is a shortcut to understanding that for the individual soldier, WWII combat was this raw, isolating experience where you felt like you were just a pawn.
Right. Its whole legacy is tied to that idea that fate, not your own will, decided if you lived or died. And that leaves us with a final thought to consider.
Go on.
What does it say about our collective understanding of war, that its most celebrated literary depictions again and again place a soldier's destiny completely outside of their own control or even their own ability to understand it?